Friends, we are discussing today strategy for economics for IAS Prelims examination. आज हम लोग IAS में अर्थशास्त्र विषय की रणनीति पर चर्चा कर रहे हैं. Why economics is so important for IAS examination? It is important because of number of questions in IAS Prelims examination are increasing, or there is a probability and possibility for the more questions. Second, importance of economy for the prelims and mains, because mains is an analytical one. So if we are preparing economics at the prelims level, definitely it is extension of the mains, it can extend it to the mains, and definitely it would help you to score better in the mains. Third, expected number of questions are always, if they are not high in a particular year, there is an expectation for more questions in future. आज भले ही ये क्वेश्चंस कम आए हों या किसी साल कम हों, लेकिन जिस तरह से इकोनॉमिक्स की चर्चा होती है, जिस तरह की आर्थिक नीतियों पर पॉलिसी डिबेट होता है, उसमें ये संभावना बनी रहती है कि क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं, ज़्यादा क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं. अगर हम लास्ट ईयर के क्वेश्चंस को देखें, एज द जागरण josh.com has analyzed that the number of questions in last 3 years have erratic trend. Erratic in the sense that in 2012 there were 20 questions, in 2013 the question increased to 22, but unfortunately last year we had 10 questions. But जिस तरह से आजकल आर्थिक विषयों पर चर्चा हो रही है, नए नए अवधारणाएं आ रही हैं, नई नई बहसें हो रही हैं, उसमें इस बात की संभावना से इनकार नहीं किया जा सकता कि आगामी परीक्षा में क्वेश्चंस की संख्या बढ़ सकती है. इसलिए अगर 10 क्वेश्चन हैं, if there are 10 questions, so we should not think that the economic relevance of this area has gone down, but it is relevant today and it would be relevant in future also. The basic problem with the economics is how to approach, because the syllabus is very wide, very intensive, and we have to cover extensive areas. So it is a pertinent to have a look on the strategy or approaches for the economics. Like, the approach must be comprehensive, it should not be selective one. Comprehensive means while preparing examination, one must know the approaches to cover entire syllabus. You must cover entire syllabus. Second, basic concept and terminology. We must precisely focus on the basic concept and terminology, because new terminology is added. New terminology is basically coming in field of economics day by day. Some terminology, some are the synthesis of the word, some are emerged from the other areas. So therefore we must focus on the terminology. Terminology like stock market, and the terminology is coming from the international debate. International debate means more Latin word, Roman word, French word. They are coming because of specific conferences, specific debates. So we must be aware of these terminology. Third, always be vigilant about current events both domestically and internationally. There are a lot of debate and churning is going on the economic issues. Like, if there is change in the policy regimes, there is a change in ideological regimes, so new terminology are emerging not only in the domestic but at the international fora. So that's why we must concentrate, we must aware, we must read the topics related to these areas and ideological debate. But while focusing on ideological debate, we must not involve unnecessary value-laden ideological debate, article related to ideological debate, and we should not memorize those debates like which are more value-laden rather than the fact and logical. So this is the approach, this is the concise approach which is needed in economics. अर्थशास्त्र में ऐसे रणनीति की या ऐसे उपागम की ज़रूरत है जिसमें हमें इस तरह की चीज़ों को ध्यान देंगे तो हम फिर प्रिसाइज होंगे, हम फोकस होंगे, हम लॉजिकल होंगे, ताकि हम क्वेश्चंस को ठीक तरीके से समझ सकें और उसका उत्तर दे सकें। जो मुद्दा है या जो प्रश्न दिमाग में आता है कंपटीटर के कि क्या हम तैयार करें, पाठ्यक्रम क्या, व्हाट इज द सिलेबस ऑफ द यूपी syllabus as per prescription of the UPSC. So you will find they have mentioned a very concise one like economic and social development, including the sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiative, etc. This syllabus is available at UPSC website and comprehensively reconstructed at jagranjosh.com. Now we will move on reconstruction of UPSC syllabus, and really jagranjosh.com has done commendable work and research in this area. Like if it reconstruct the each and every word which is given, which is provided, which is given in UPSC syllabus, like development. What is a development? So you define economics, define development, and it's important to understand the basic concept of economy, define economics. There are many definitions, like starting from economics is a science of wealth to more complicated one, but normally the scarcity definition prevails and accepted. The second is alternative uses of resources, resource transfer, distribution effect of resource transfers towards various stakeholders, to understand the basic difference between macro policy and microeconomic policy. Macro policy includes the policy related to taxation, subsidies, pricing, transfer pricing, pension, insurance. Microeconomic policy is very much related to the fact of the equilibrium of the various micro units like firms, individuals, and all these things. In economics, micro doesn't add up macro. We need different policies for the macro perspective and diverse policies for the micro perspective. That's why the micro-macro balance is very important, and UPSC precisely focus on the questions like evaluating the knowledge of competitors in this regard. Third is the understand the progress through data. There are enormous data available at the public fora, but the problem is which is relevant for your study. So taking the data, collecting them, then analyzing them and reaching at a certain interpretation. बहुत सारे आंकड़ों के बाद भी उन आंकड़ों के भंवर जाल से कैसे हम निकलें, कैसे उसको हम विश्लेषण करें और किस आंकड़े को सही माने, ये एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती होती है जिसको हमें डील करना है। और सबसे बड़ा जो होता है कि इन्फ्लेशन, आप रोज सुनते हैं इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ रहा है, इन्फ्लेशन घट रहा है, लेकिन आपको समझ में आता है कि जब इन्फ्लेशन घट रहा होता है तो बाजार में कीमतें नहीं होती हैं। तो ये जो माइक्रो मैक्रो पैराडॉक्स है, इसको आप जरूर समझें, क्योंकि क्वेश्चंस आपको इसी पर बेस्ड होते हैं, इसी पर आधारित होते हैं। दूसरा जो एस्पेक्ट होता है, टू अंडरस्टैंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव इम्पैक्ट ऑफ वेरियस इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज इन पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ ग्रोथ वर्सेस डेवलपमेंट। वी मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन ग्रोथ एंड development. There are various determinants of growth, measuring growth and measuring development. Now we will discuss some important concepts like human poverty index, multidimensional poverty index, physical quality of life index, human development index, gender development index, gender inequality index, gender empowerment measure, technological achievement index, green index. These are the indices which are discussed both at the national as well as international fora. So the UPSC is asking questions particularly on these aspects, and the ranking of the India's rank in these indices. So one must be careful while reading newspaper, it should not miss at all. concept of sustainable development is relevant today, though it is a lot discussed in the environmental and the science, environmental area and the science, area of the science, but in economics it is important because of the allocation of resources or distributive justice between the generations. That is why the concept like green index and India's ranking on green index and happiness index. So, one must be careful while reading newspaper or collecting the material. These indices must not missed while you are preparing your notes. Important area for study. Jagran has thoroughly analyzed the trends of UPSC examination and they have pinned some important area for UPSC aspirants. Jagran ने पिछले प्रश्न पत्रों के विश्लेषण के आधार पे कुछ विशेष क्षेत्रों की पहचान की है जो यूपीएससी परीक्षा देने वालों के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो सकते हैं। उन विषयों पर मैं एक एक करके बात करना चाहूँगा। पहला है पॉवर्टी। पॉवर्टी को यूपीएससी ने अपने सिलेबस में डायरेक्टली भी मेंशन किया है, बट उसका रिकंस्ट्रक्ट नहीं किया है, रिकंस्ट्रक्शन वर्जन नहीं है, उसके स्कोप के उसके डिफिनेशन को छोड़ दिया है। इसलिए यहाँ पे आप लोगों को पॉवर्टी के डिफिनेशंस लाइक income definition, calorie concept and the definition given by the World Bank. What are the reason for the poverty, why there are some regions are poor, some regions are not that much poor. So, you must know the geographical distribution and deprivation of the poverty. Second, measurement of the poverty. There is huge debate in economic literature regarding the poverty, but one should be focused precisely study the तेंदुलकर कमेटी। तेंदुलकर कमेटी को आपको ध्यान से पढ़ना पड़ेगा क्योंकि उस पर बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस बहुत आ सकते हैं। फिर स्टेटस ऑफ पॉवर्टी अक्रॉस द ग्लोब एंड स्टेट्स इन इंडिया। जो पॉवर्टी का जो वितरण है वो विश्व में कैसा है और भारत के विभिन्न राज्यों में कैसा है, कम से कम कुछ फैक्ट्स, रेसेंट फैक्ट्स पे जरूर आप लोग ध्यान रखें। नेक्स्ट, पॉवर्टी इरेडिकेशन प्रोग्राम। पॉवर्टी एक ऐसा इशू है, डिप्राइवेशन एक ऐसा इशू है, गवर्नमेंट इज कॉन्स्टेंटली वर्किंग ऑन। सो यू मस्ट नो द पॉलिसीज विच हैज बीन given by the government and what are their issues and how issues related with them. Next, poverty and resource policy. Poverty एक ऐसा इश्यू है, सबसे ज़्यादा डिबेटेड इश्यूज हैं कि इसमें रिसोर्स कैसे दिया जाए। रिसोर्सेज शुड बी डिवोटेड टू द इरेडिकेशन ऑफ द पॉवर्टी और रिसोर्सेज शुड बी डिवोटेड टू द capacity expansion or capacity building of the economy. So, there is a huge debate and the UPSC precisely may ask question on these areas like land bill, most controversial bill, tribal rights, right to food, right to dignified life and rural livelihood mission including rural and urban. So, these are the issues which a student must concentrate or focus upon on these issues. Next is the inclusion. The UPSC mentions inclusion, but Jagran has basically reconstructed it in a very lucid manner, and this includes, exclusion includes social, political, economic and financial. Most relevant issues are today the financial inclusion. Defining financial inclusion, how to eradicate exclusion in the financial sector, precisely focusing on the recent policy initiatives like Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana, no frill account, zero balance account and the progress of the direct benefit transfer and issues related to direct benefit transfers precisely for the energy products. So, these are the issues which are very important. Then नया एरिया है वो है आजकल डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड की बात की जा रही है। Precisely demographic dividend has two components. One is the demographic capital another is the return on capital. So, demographic capital is very much related to the population. So, we must go through the sense where at least the important feature of the census 2011 and deviation from the earlier census. Second, population by gender, like their share in total population, their absolute number, sex ratio, then the population by states, their ordering, highest number of the highest populated state, lowest populated state, or a rank of the states according to population, then population by age composition of age, then सोशियो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस, सामाजिक आर्थिक जो स्थिति है उसके आधार पर, देन कंपोजिशन बाय सोशल ग्रुप लाइक कास्ट, रिलीजन, जेंडर, देन qualitative aspect of the population like literacy level, household facilities like drinking water, sanitation, health status, homeless people, energy uses and the prices of energy. These are the issues which are very relevant in case of demographic dividend. Then composition in human development, trends in human development, and the interstate comparison between north and south divide of the north and south. The next issue is, which is not mentioned in the UPSC syllabus, like the financing of the social economic project. Financing is very important. Financing would come through either government or the private sector, or any combination of government and private sector. It means one must understand the fiscal policy. Fiscal policy, its component, its definition, like the you have a two component, one is the receipt, another is the expenditure. In receipts you have the revenue account, capital account. In revenue account you have tax revenue, non-tax revenue. In tax revenue you have direct tax and then the indirect tax. Similarly, in expenditure you have planned expenditure, non-planned expenditure, and the entire planning is divided into the budgets or the annual form of the planning. It includes type, process like the preparation of the budget and the legislative process, which budget actually translate into the real economic policy. So one must go through, not very deep, because it may be extended in the next next level or the main syllabus, but at prelims level one must go to understand or precisely focus on these concepts. Another area which is very important and relevant for the UPSC exam, that is financing of the health policy, financing of the education policy, health policy, various health and life insurance scheme. Second, education policy includes right to education, quality and quantitative aspect. Third, the sanitation drive at national level, at state level and at individual level is very important, because sanitation is related to health and health is related to human capital and demographics. That is why we should not ignore the sanitation policy. The sanitation policy is in continuation. We should not confuse about the only Rashtriya Swachhata Mission. There are various policies in the past, so one should know the continuity like Nirmal Gram, Rashtriya Swachhata are total sanitation programs. Next is the drinking water, which is an essential component of the demographic dividend. So one must know the drinking water policies, social security like income security, insurance, access to finance and other rights. Then the next comes to the infrastructure policy. Infrastructure policy includes policy related to telecommunication, road, energy, transport, and next level is the international trade. International trade includes composition, direction, issues and the recent regional cooperation. जो आपकी संचार नीति है, अधोसंरचना नीति है, उसके अंदर आपको सामाजिक अधोसंरचना, आर्थिक अधोसंरचना, आर्थिक अधोसंरचना के अंदर आपको दूरसंचार, परिवहन, उनकी कीमत, उनसे रिलेटेड इश्यूज, उनका वित्तीयन और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे चलने वाले बहसों को आप लोगों को शामिल करना पड़ेगा, उनका अध्ययन करना पड़ेगा। जो स्टूडेंट अभी एग्ज़ाम के लिए जा रहे हैं उनके लिए जो रिलेवेंट इश्यूज़ हैं, जो करंट इश्यूज़ हैं, उन पे क्या क्या इश्यूज़ कवर किए जाएं, द इश्यूज़ विच आर रिलेवेंट फॉर द just coming exam, that is a issue related to rationalization of the Manrega. Second, MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises. Then Skill India, Make in India, industrial corridors, land acquisition, 14th Finance Commission, Center-State Financial Relation, Niti Aayog, black money, insurance bill, direct benefit transfers, and the various committees, and important one is the Devrai Committee on Railway Infrastructure and Governance. Next, international treaty and organization like WTO, G20, G8, ADB, World Bank look towards and act towards East, Indo-China policy, Indo-Pak policy, Indo-Bangladesh policy. These are the issues of the current importance. Now, tips and strategy. The details strategy regarding the UPSC examination, both for prelims as well as mains, is given in the jagranjosh.com. You can refer to the website. You will get a lot of information over there. The precisely what step should be taken while going for the prelims examination. First is analyze questions of the previous examination. You can do yourself, and the jagranjosh.com would be very helpful regarding analyzing the trends and the exact sequencing regarding the questions. Second, read question carefully and understand it properly. Third, keep tab on recent development, follow recent magazines. Explore interdisciplinary approach, read article on views and counter views on the issues of relevance or issues of importance. Discuss issue with your peer group. अपने peer group के साथ जो issue relevant है उनसे discuss करिए ताकि आपका interdisciplinary approach develop हो सके. Next, balance between fact and concept. It's a very important. Sometimes you are too much fact laden but not very clear about the concept. So there must be a balance, proper balance between concept and facts. And next, if you want to, अगर आपको ये चाहिए कि इस पे हम सही रणनीति कैसे अपनाएं, तो इसके लिए आप jagranjosh.com पे जा करके उनके भी टिप्स ले सकते हैं जो इसमें आपको बहुत सारा हेल्प कर सकते हैं. क्वेश्चन के पैटर्न को हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे कि कैसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं और कैसे हम उसको सॉल्व करें और कौन सी रणनीति अपनाएं. इसके लिए हम लोग एक सैम्पल क्वेश्चन ले रहे हैं. 2014 में क्वेश्चन था, विथ रेफरेंस टू यूनियन बजट विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज आर covered under non-plan expenditure. This question is related to the public finance, which we have already discussed. The public finance includes revenue, then expenditure. In revenue part, you have revenue receipts, capital receipts. In revenue receipts, you have taxes, non-tax revenue. Tax revenue includes direct tax, indirect tax. Similarly, expenditure part includes plan expenditure and non-plan expenditure. So you should know the content and the growth or component of the non-plan expenditure. जब तक आप non-plan expenditure को आप पूरी तरह से डिसइंटीग्रेट करिए, रिकंस्ट्रक्ट करिए और उसको जब डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट को देखेंगे तब ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर मिलेगा. लाइक द आंसर इज डिफेंस एक्सपेंडिचर, इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट, सैलरी एंड पेंशन एंड सब्सिडी. जैसा कि क्वेश्चन में हमने डिस्कस किया कि कि जब भी आप किसी क्वेश्चन का आंसर देंगे तो डायरेक्ट आपको नहीं मिलेगा, इसलिए नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर में ये क्यों इंक्लूड होते हैं, इनको नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर क्यों कहा जाता है, वाई कॉल देम नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर, वाई दे आर केप्ट अंडर द कैटेगरीज ऑफ नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर. So you must go through the budget concept of the budget, otherwise it would be difficult to get a right answer. The right answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 components comes under non-plan categories. And why they are called non-plan categories? Because these expenditure doesn't add to the capacity existing production capacity. Instead these expenditure are for maintaining the existing capacity. That's why they call it non-plan expenditure, and it must be shared by state and as well as the center. So these are the concept, these are very tricky concept, so one should not take it lightly. What references are relevant for your prelims exams? One is the books. If you are preparing examination, अगर आप एग्जाम में बैठने जा रहे हैं और आपके पास सफिशिएंट टाइम है तो कुछ स्टैंडर्ड टेक्स्ट को ज़रूर आप लोग फॉलो करें. ये पूरा कम से कम 1 साल की तैयारी में आपको करना पड़ेगा. लाइक स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द NCERT बुक्स 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and specifically Indian economy. Second, Indian economy, Datta and Sundaram, Misra and Puri. Then India yearbook or Bharat yearbook. Magazine and other publication is also relevant for your preparation. It includes economic special issue like Pratyogita Darpan, Civil Services Times in hardbound, and e-book published by jagranjosh.com on basic economics and Indian economy. Then Kurukshetra, Yojana, newspaper like Economic Times, Financial Express, Hindu, Economic Survey, especially the topic related to the social issues like the chapter 13 and chapter 14, budget speeches. There are a lot of information available at e-platform, including www.indiabudget.nic.in, where you can get economic survey and budget speeches, www.planningcommission.nic.in, where you can get the lot of information from their archives. Then website of various ministries such as Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Renewable Energy, and not the least, you can get a lot of information in customized form at the website www.jagranjosh.com, which would help to your study, your enhancement of your or improvement of your knowledge. Thank you.